Are we doing all right? Did we all come here to kick some fucking ass or what? Well, I tell ya, if you came here to see fucking spandex and fucking makeup and hairspray and all this crap, this ain't the fucking band. We came here to bash our fucking heads together for 45 minutes. What about you? All right. Do you all know Cliff Burton over here? Everyone, hi Cliff, how you doing?
I didn't write, so I take responsibility. Ready to roll? Okay.
Let's do it.
As one of the leading names in the underground hardcore metal movement, how do you think the recent success of overground heavy metal has affected the fortunes of more brash underground bands like yourself?
What was that? I think in a way it's brought sort of more attention to the whole scene as in general. I think the resurgence in metal that took place about 2 years ago just brought a lot of the underground stuff sort of into the limelight too, and we seem to, luckily enough, be the front runners of that whole underground thing.
Why do you think across the board the faster, younger bands are being overlooked?
I think because a lot of the younger bands don't really have anything too original or new to offer. They just do and repeat things that have really already been done, 5 years ago by other bands. And that's where I think we're a little different, because we try and put as much originality and sort of just different things into what we do than most other new bands. Most new bands try to just follow really what's already been done. And we try and just put our own new thing into it as much as we can.
There've been through some major lineup changes. Tell us how they've affected your sound and the band itself.
Well, there hasn't really been any major lineup changes since we recorded the first album. There was a bit of reshuffling going on in the beginning before we actually recorded the first album. So, I mean, the overall sound hasn't really changed that much. I think the only thing that changed a bit was that when Kirk and Cliff joined the band, they contributed it to the songwriting end of things, which the two other members didn't in the early days.
How would you describe the difference between Metallica's sound and stance and that of more established metal bands?
And what?
Talk a little louder.
What's the difference between your sound and sounds like of some of the other bands here today?
Well, a bit more extreme, I'd say. Not so safe sounding, Go for a little, heavier sound.
We just do pretty much what we want to do, and I think that the kids can really see that there's no sort of bullshit or anything going on. What they see is really what we're about, and that's why I think a lot of people can really relate to what we do.
How do you react to the accusations? They're just playing fast, they don't know what they're playing.
People can think whatever they want to think. We know what we do, and we like what we do, and
who cares?
Yeah. Next.
Why do you think Europe and England are more open to hardcore metal?
Well, it started over there. I don't know.
I think it's got something to do with the way that in Europe that you get bigger and build yourself up. It's more through touring and more through like the word of mouth and like the street buzz. Where in America, to break out of the underground, you have to depend a lot on radio and depend a lot on videos and so forth. When in Europe, it's more just a touring thing and a lot of press, And, we're not on a major label in Europe, but, just by touring a lot and just sort of the street buzz that comes out of that, you don't really need to be on a major label in Europe to break out of the underground.
Well, Europe is so much smaller, and it's just
awesome.
the radio is really nothing over there. So it's just the word of mouth.
Why has Metallica never recorded a video?
Well, it's like in the music business these days, there's this whole thing going around with when you release an album, then the first cut that's released to the radio station, you have to go do a video for that. And the question at the end of the day is why? And with MTV cutting back on metal, which they did back in January anyway, the chances of Metallica video being seen to any big number of people anywhere was so slim. And we just rely more on our live performances and just on sort of that sort of whole thing, down-to-earth image or whatever.
Why do you guys not feel the need to get dressed up or made up like a bunch of
We are.
See?
Well, there's no need for it, really. I think it goes along with our music. It's just, no frills, just go for it, no really any kind of false, image or anything to bring across. Our music is very natural, so we should, wear what feels natural to us on the stage or what's, comfortable. Instead of, thousands of chains hanging off or something,
I mean, for us, the music is like the main thing, and image or how we look or whatever, that's pretty much the last thing.
Can you start that again? I just noticed the camera was on its way to you. You started talking. So start with the music and stuff.
For us, the music is like the main thing with what we do, how we look or what kind of image that people sort of see in us or whatever. That, I mean, that they can worry about that. We just worry about our music, which is really how we get, you know, our kicks from playing, and we just wear what comes with that, you know. And that's really all there is to it.
How do gigs like today's Down the Green and Don Park compare to the gigs that you guys usually do?
There's more people here.
It's more bands.
Yeah, there's more bands. There's more people licking in the backstage area.
I don't know.
Just for how the band prepares, how the band tries to present itself on stage.
It's another gig to us, really. No special things going on.
You know, we play the same if we play in front of 600 people or 60,000. We just go out because we enjoy what we do so much that there's not really, it's not difficult to get really excited about if there's only 1,000 people, because we get excited from what we play. And so, you know, it's just another show. Of course, you know, there's a bit more sort of excitement in the area, but I mean, in a way, when we hit the stage, the same thing goes on as at any other show.
What differentiates Metallica from the other bands that are here tonight?
I don't know. Why don't you find out?
I think we have something different to offer than most of the other bands that are doing the rounds today.
Want to start that over?
No.
I think Metallica has something.
I think we have something different to offer than most of the other bands that are around today in terms of in image and in sort of the way we play and what we do. You know, where most of the stuff that's around today, like James was saying earlier, is so safe. And there seems to be a big market for the kind of stuff we do, which is just play what we want for ourselves, and people can sort of, there seems to be a big audience that can get into that. We're sort of like one step, we're like furthest out in like left field pretty much from the middle of any of the sort of bigger heavy metal bands today. You know, sort of as unsafe as you can get. And we get away with it.
What differentiates Metallica from other hardcore bands like the Slayers, the Megadeths, etc., etc.?
Well, I don't know.
What difference?
Yeah, if Slayer was playing one end of town, you were playing on the other end of town, why would I see you?
I don't know.
Or should I go see
Maybe
them?
you're not into Satan. I don't know.
I mean, I think a lot of these bands catch on to a lot of the cliches that are going on in heavy metal today. We try and shy away from as many of them as we can, while still doing the sort, I mean, in heavy metal, everything's already been done before, but we're trying to avoid as many of the cliches as we can. And I think some of the other speed metal bands and sort of underground thrash metal bands are just taking in all these cliches, and it gets so unexciting or interesting. Plus, I think also from a musical standpoint, we have a bit more to offer, just from the point of view that we try and put as much into the music as we can in terms of the song arrangings and song writings and tempo changes and stuff like that. And I think we're also maybe a little bit more serious musicians than most of these other bands. So sort of all of that thrown in together, there's Metallica. Oh well.